Previously on Saving Throw. Seeing an opportunity to capture a mad scientist, Ashbaugh did this.
If I ever have a human's length gap between him and other people, please let me know.
Okay. The doctor speaks before turning and once again stepping out of the view of the cages. Selfario hesitating a moment before following. Ash, this would be your 10-foot gap.
All right. I am Misty. If he is within 30 feet of me, I am Misty stepping directly behind him, putting a knife to his throat and telling him not to move.
With little time before our party got caught, or worse, they devised a plan to get the doctor out of enemy hands.
Or Win, better idea. Turn Mr. Doctor Man into a small creature. I can run him to the capital in 30 minutes.
Rat spell happens.
Yes.
Fire drops.
My natural instincts take over, and I go, oh shit, lunch.
Okay.
You eat him.
I burn a key point to go step of the wind, so I can dash with my action too. So I am like insanely fast now. I can move 60 feet and probably 120 feet per 6 seconds.
But Chiron wasn't the only one on the run.
Yeah.
As you're like looking back to see where the thing chasing you is, you are hit from the side as you are shoulder checked out, and you basically tumble onto a roof beside where you just were moments ago. And she speaks, "Where are you running? We haven't gotten started yet."
Sorry, I've got a delivery and it involves this rat. I'm not letting you in my way.
I got a cheese
So
pizza.
please step aside. We can talk later.
Now questions get answered in Saving Throw, Cracks in the Foundation. Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à Saving Throw, le premier podcast pour les sexy filles avec autisme. Sorry, that was the audio track got switched. That was our Japanese dub.
Wow. Listen, Chris knows languages. If there's one thing about Chris I know, he knows languages.
Press X to doubt.
That was in a Google Translate, motherfucker. You better believe it. I'm Chris, and I will be your dungeon master, and I will buy a lot of things, but lingual ain't one of them. I'm joined by our party, which includes Zach as Alistair Noble Drifter,
Hola.
Elise as Win the Turtle.
Salut, bonjour.
I almost read that as Win as Elise the Turtle. Prij playing Ashbaugh Ramirance.
This one goes out to you, Jimmy.
David as Jumper Many Shields.
Combo.
And we have Jason playing Chiron Hemlock.
Oh, son of a This one goes out to you, dude, Jimmy. Come on, ball. I don't know what the fuck you said.
For people watching this in 3 weeks when the last episode go out, Jimmy Carter just died, and that isn't just random.
You know what's fucked up is genuinely, Prij, I thought you were shouting out Jimmy Buffett all this years later, but
Wait. Yes.
I thought you were talking about Jimmy from Bully.
Episode for your Jimy Buffett Discord.
I did know Jimmy Carter died, but when you said Jimmy Carter, I thought Jimmy Buffett.
yeah.
I've lost a lot of Jimmys recently.
Superior James, some might say.
They own Margaritaville and Peanut Farm in heaven together.
I love that.
I'd go there. If heaven exists, I'm going there.
If you like this show, you can watch it recorded live on Twitch and YouTube, or catch the edited versions on our YouTube channel or podcast platforms. If you watch it close enough to your screen, you'll find the secret message.
Ooh.
Oh wait, Jimmy Buffett is also dead.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
Yeah, we did a whole big stream about it. That's not a joke. And if you want to support us, the absolute best way is our Patreon, which gives you access to all kinds of rewards across all of our shows, including being an NPC in this very show, which we will meet 1 to 3 of today. And for 10 currencies, you can be included into this Patreon song.
Thank 'em, gotta thank 'em all. Gotta thank 'em all, our Patreons. Spot Cobbler, Captain Malik, Bonetti, Cosmo, Dave Hall, Lucha, and Sofino. HSN, Ernest, Marks, The Jester, Yane Love, Logan 01, Jack Warner. Witch Tower, Kevin, Asian, and Selfaria, Arky, Forensic, Beckner, Cole, Smart, Alec, Mystic, Woody. Leprechaun, Jacob Bell, Crimson, Chrissy, Victor Alexander, Shadowed Navi, Soul Masters, BBC, Watts, and Riser, Sherlock, Sellert, Mr. Mocha, Straw Breaker, Animo, Lil Ghost, Godwin, Don Ruby, Josh, King, Kieran, Zachary, Gosford, and Boomer, Emily. plethora of penguins and who need to sleep Alea, Yakta, Est Ever Entropy, JFJ Nightwing Ichiza T, the driver 458 ATD. Maho stars Red Crest, Will Ben and Chosen, Tin, Maybe Anime, Checker Knight, and JC Foxington. And as Bananas, Lord Byron, Siegfried, Haruka, Naegi, Panic Ping, and Sheberstein, Cynthios, Hannah, Fluffy, Senpai, Nick, Necrosis, Elijah Sly, Dessert Boy Man, Schmuggerblart, Rick Rat, Katja, Traveling in a Box, and Snowcat, Conjuring, Scribes, Yo Croissant, Fofilla, Written Word, Ginkgo, and Sibylla. Thank 'em, gotta thank 'em all. Gotta thank 'em all, our Patreons.
Let's get back to some Dungeons and Dragons, and this is usually where we do the award-nominated segment, I'm Pretty Sure We Partied. It's so much so usually where we do it that we're going to do it here. Last time on Saving Throw, we apprehended an evil super scientist. Basically, we caught Dr. Doofenshmirtz. But this got me thinking about our party, and basically crime, or at least bad behavior. So, a question for everyone, and take this however you like. What is the most trouble that you guys have all gotten in? And or have you ever had a run-in with the authorities?
Not you mean like not on this, like not in our adventures together.
It could be in the adventures. It could be whatever.
I mean, I think for Alistair it would be definitely anything that we have done, because
literally every job that we've gone on.
Here's the question: what trouble have you guys gotten in, except for Marin yelling at you?
Technically, I robbed the mayor.
You did rob him there.
You didn't get in trouble.
You didn't get in trouble for that.
That's true.
Yeah, you got away with that, man.
Also, you fuck Jeshel Jalal. That guy sucks.
God, that was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was.
I can start.
Yeah.
All right. So, when Ash first began his quest to discover the truths of chaos and order in the universe, someone definitely suggested that he could see special truths if he tried some less than legal substances. So Ash definitely attempted to discover the truth of the universe using less than legal hallucinogenic means.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah. They did not allow him to see the truth of the universe, and he does not do that anymore. But he definitely had a short stretch where he tried out some illegal drugs.
That's awesome.
So when Ash was doing salvia, how long did he hold his breath for? When?
Yeah. I don't know that this is like the most trouble. I think probably had some run-ins with like pirates and stuff. But I think the funnest story is when Wen was a little turd.
A little turd.
A little turd. Just growing up, they spent some time at a port somewhere, and I'll look at the map to figure out where. But she
Elder Port.
got in with some of the local. What's that?
Elder Port, by the way.
Elder Port. She got in with some of the local like kids doing mischief, let's say. Not big crimes, but you know, some shoplifting, some petty theft. And I think just as they were about to leave the port, they got apprehended and not in a lot of trouble, but like held overnight in a holding cell, you know?
Oh.
Don't do that again. Yeah.
I'll go next. Alistair probably didn't do anything too crazy. Was very like prim and proper for the most part, apart from like a obvious rebellious streak against
Nerd.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Rebellious streak against like his family and upbringing and stuff like that. I'd probably say something of like shirking his duties, or like okay, how about this? He definitely had a what do you call him? A tutor that was hired to raise him in the ways of taking over the family business at some point. And I'll say he played hooky a lot, but also probably did pranks on the tutor, like, I don't know, put a whoopee cushion in his shoe or something.
Nice.
Yeah. Prestidigitation to his shoes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Made his shoes talk to him. He thought he was tripping balls.
He thought he was doing salvia.
I can go
next. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go.
Or Jumper, Jason.
Damn.
Which one?
Jason, go. Chiron.
All right. Besides the obvious tragic backstory, redacted.
So one of these days, we're gonna finally learn.
Oh baby,
No.
it's approaching.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows when that might come? But that might quantify. But we're not ready for that one. The trauma for that is not. We're not ready for that one. So I'll just give that whenever I was probably on the streets. I mean, I assume if I'm just doing like freaking open-ended surgeries on the streets, that authorities have probably told me to move my cart here or there, especially if somebody dies.
Definitely
so I
not
just show up
super
with like a
legal.
dead. Yeah, so if I show up with a dead body, like, he was dead before I got him. I don't know. Yeah, he didn't make it, and they probably had to shoo me away from different spots around. So probably that's how I became good at like maneuvering through streets and kind of finding good corners to hide in or something like that. So
A lot of randomly abandoned corpses
yeah.
with "Oopsie, I tried" written next to them. Sorry about it.
Doodles.
I did
The
my
guy was
best.
dying. The guy was dying.
Yeah. Hey, who's gonna die either way? You only tried to make it not.
Yeah.
Kitty was good though, so you walked away with that.
Yeah.
You need those.
So I got one pettiness and one actual maybe a crime. Back in Grey Taunt, we went over that. Junver got bullied a lot. One of the small things that Junver did to get back at people was the night before hunts or when it was other people's turns to cook that were his bullies. He would sneak over to their tents and take their hunting knives or cooking knives and blunt them on rocks. Put
Yo,
them back.
that's really good. That's so petty.
That's actually
fucking
that's
petty.
a really good like medieval prank.
Yeah.
Just turn them absolutely blunt. And like Junver half the time was the one that had to fix them, but people be out for hunts and they'd be like, okay, let's clean this dire giant mountain ram, and they'd go to cut into the skin and just be like, nope, blunt, can't even cut with this. Gotta drag the whole thing back. And then the other one that's like maybe crime, Junver paid his way to get to Rotmar from Grey Taunt initially for school by doing like odd smithing jobs along the way. There was a place where Junver made a lot of armor and weapons, thought it was for the city guard. Turns out it wasn't.
Oh no.
Nice.
So he went to the smithy one day and everyone had cleared out and there was just the local guard there. And Junver cheesed it out of the city.
Damn.
Junver armed militants is what we just learned.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Listen, it happens sometimes, you know?
From here on out, the rest of this arc to be Junver recognizing weapons he smiths on the shatterers. Oh, I think I made that.
Oh shit, that axe looks really familiar.
Wow, Junver and the U.S. government have so much in common.
Oh my god, Junver armed the Contras.
Right after Jimmy Carter left us, come on. Give the Contras up.
He would have loved it.
Fine, the Mujahideen, whatever.
Oh wow, I like metal Junver solid. Alright. Fuck, Junver built Metal Gear. Alright, moving on.
Yep.
Now that we're all warmed up, back in the saving throw, last time we did a reverse heist. And it went as follows. 1. We planned to load Junver up in the place of the spawn in the cages, and 2. Deliver him. So to 3, find out what was on the other side of this deal. And with the help of Sahia Shamari, we did those 3 things. We loaded Junver up, posed as a delivery crew, and delivered the package to a company known as the Jadestone Company, or just Jadestone, and the possession of a dragonkin man named Ren Naru. Then, we did some of the worst role-playing we've ever done in this series since episode 2.
That's not even true.
Hold on.
No, it was pretty bad.
Hold on. When we, in Ash's words, pirated it. Again. Just to clarify, this was so bad, Zach and I argued about it twice since we last recorded, one of which was at our New Year's Eve dinner.
That's true.
But, in defense of y'all, we then recovered, snuck into the Jadestone warehouse, and then in some of the, and I'm not hyperbolizing, best thinking on our feet I've seen y'all do, we discovered that the Shatterers are in fact behind whatever's going on here, and we found Phylo Carmire, whose name I'm putting in the chat for people who are trying to spell it, because shout out patron Phylo, the inventor of these artificial magical crystals like the one in Ash's pocket, we found out that he is here and intimately involved, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike, we apprehended Phylo, separating him from the shatterer Selfaria, shout out patron Selfaria, turned him into a rat, and bailed from the scene as we basically trashed the warehouse so the guards couldn't chase us. Chiron ran ahead with Rat Doctor to make sure that we secured him, but was intercepted by someone as fast or even faster than him. But luckily, Chiron was able to get away using his street smarts, and we managed to all regroup in the Palace of Adelmar, the Palace of the Shapers, with Dr. Carmire now in our custody. Any questions on all that before I set up what's currently happening?
No, hey, I actually listened to the last episodes this time, so shout out to me.
Me too.
Hey, mainly because Chris said you guys are going to want to do that, because you got to ask some questions this time.
And Chris was not wrong. So.
And just before we ended last time, we entered here, the palace foyer of Adelmar, the Palace of the Shapers. And also entering the room, or rather storming into it, was an elderly half-elven man in a brilliant set of robes, who entered by shouting, "Sahia Shrimari!" And as Sahia turned to this gentleman and greeted him as Daddy, you didn't really need the confirmation who he was. You've all seen the statue of Danat Shrimari at the guild. That is in fact where we met Sahia. And the man that Sahia is now speaking to is the spitting fucking image of his father, Danat. This is the Duke of Adelmar, Kadaib Shrimari. Shout out patron Kadaib.
Yo!
Can I get a perception check from, let's go, Junver and Alistair? Alistair, advantage, this is a listening check.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, not great.
I got a 15.
I got a 9.
15. You're able to overhear a bit of the conversation between Sahia and her father. Long story short, he's fucking pissed. And when Sahia attempts to explain herself, he basically isn't having it. One key excerpt you hear is, "I don't even know what to... Sahia, go to your room!" To which grown adult Sahia is like, "What the fuck, dog?" Before he cuts her off once again with, "To your room right now!" And
That is so father.
yes. And with that, Sahia turns, huffs, looks at you all a bit like red in the face before she storms off down a hallway and out of the palace foyer. The Duke Shrimari sighs, taking a moment to like compose himself before turning and like giving like a slight bow, more like a nod of the head to you all. "Heroes of the guild, welcome to the Palace of the Shapers." He begins as he approaches you all. "My apologies, as this is not how we like to host guests, especially members of the guild, but it seems my daughter decided to defy convention here." The Duke pauses in his speech, looking over all of you, and then Phylo, who's no longer a rat, correct?
Correct.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Who returns like a sheepish little "hey" to the Duke.
Doing proper, courtly graces, Alistair bows and says, "Duke, I do apologize, but your daughter is not at fault here. If anything, we take responsibility for putting her in danger."
When does a polite but not like court polite wave?
But
I bow as decorum would dictate.
Yeah.
Did I give this like rat thing to the person?
He's two like Shrimari guards got him like basically so you guys don't have to hold his fucking hand.
Yeah.
At the end of the last episode, we gave him to the guards and they shackled him. And
There,
put
like,
him in.
he's standing like
Okay,
2 feet to
yeah.
your left in handcuffs. He's not. Basically, what I'm
Yeah,
trying to tell you is, in this whole segment we're about to do, you don't have to worry about him gunning it. Like he's not.
Okay,
gonna,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
no
more
one's
that.
gonna let.
like-
No one's gonna let him just walk out the front door.
You don't have to rely on
y'all
Ashbaw's
seen
owl
that-
instincts to catch a rat again.
Have y'all seen that viral video of the dude who was under arrest just walking out of court?
no, that's awesome though.
It's fucking insane. Anyway,
Oops a doodle.
yes.
But I will say your daughter was very heroic today, and I understand why you are mad at her, but please don't be too hard on her.
persuasion check.
Okay, shit. I'm good at that. I'm pretty sure.
What? She's grounded for life.
Yeah.
She's a half elf. That's like 180 years for life.
For life, I say.
I got a 26.
Yeah, I mean, you tell him that, and he's like, he clearly like wants to be mad.
Yeah,
Like your sincerity just kind of makes him like,
Yeah.
yeah. He grumbles a bit before raising a hand slightly. Close the palace, no one in or out, and fetch Gyro at once. The rest of you, out. The Duke commands, and the guards and servants and attendants that sort of like are, all in the room, all begin to fucking bail the foyer quickly, except the guys who are holding on to the doctor.
They leave too. He's left completely alone. He escapes again.
They leave. He walks out with
fly
them.
through the ceiling? What?
They fly now?
They fly now.
They fly now.
Oh god.
That movie.
The Duke speaks. Now then, here's what I have been told, and I'm sure the five of you can fill in the blanks. And Phylo Carmire pipes up with this. Your Grace, if I may, considering you are clearly under arrest, it is madness you would even think to ask. So no, you may not. He cuts off the doc quickly before turning back to the rest of you.
Fuck yeah.
You all have arrived in my city, I'm assuming under the order of my Aunt Marin, all within your hero duties, I'm sure. Like not blood relation, just more like...
Like
okay.
Okay.
I was like, yo, shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, this dude's old as fuck.
Yeah.
But then, without my approval, my daughter chose to get involved in this little action. Let's call it action. I'm going to guess the young Lord Vessler is involved in that much. At which point, you all, along with Sahia, snuck into the Jadestone Company. Something happened, and you emerged with this gentleman. All the while, I'm hearing reports from the Shatterguard of unapproved magic use in my city, and then your masked friend burst into my palace, and here we are. Have I gotten the gist of it?
Yeah, pretty much nailed it.
I don't know about burst. I would say probably came in with a stunning display of skill and aptitude, but burst, you could say burst.
After your masked friend dashingly entered my palace.
Much better.
Good. Then I assume whatever other details you're going to inform me of will justify the reckless nature of my daughter's actions, and why it was so paramount to have her involved with an action that I'm guessing you could not have led her to, I don't know, not endanger herself?
Before we respond, Chris, what is he, a governor, basically?
Duke.
So would a Duke be aware of the Shatterers? I feel like no, based on previous conversations.
Everyone is now aware of the Shatterers since the killing of the Emperor.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Yes. They did kind of use that as their big coming out party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would he have known before that? No.
Okay.
No, he would not have.
Okay.
Because Iris didn't know about them, so.
I wanted to gauge the level of honesty that we should approach the situation with.
So if you think about like the way like Dukes in Saving Throw are kind of in a weird spot because like they're a much bigger deal than they should be. There's basically one per island, and the far west island is where the capital is, so obviously the Emperor takes that spot. Middle island is the Shamari, far right island is the Keltier, so Iris now, because her brother is super dead.
Yes.
More dead than regular vampires are.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, so other than the Emperor, like, this dude's, along with the Keltiers, is like a number 2, basically.
He's basically a king, so much so that children of dukes are actually referred to as prince and princess. Mostly like the head one, like Sahi isn't really called princess that often, but like his son, for example, would be called prince.
Okay.
Right.
Sick. I don't think I knew she was that like high up. Damn.
Nope.
She's the youngest child. She's the 7th.
Okay. I think you mentioned Duke before, but yeah, we didn't dive into what exactly that means.
Okay.
Sahia in the grand scheme of like,
it's just a little turd,
Yeah.
So.
Like her job is to go to the capital and like present his vote in whatever they're voting on, and like that's really it. She doesn't really do anything. She has no actual power.
Well, she can move rocks, but
It's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a power.
Sorry. So what was the question again?
Basically, he's asking. So he's
This better be important for you to involve my daughter in something so dangerous.
Here's everything I know. Why the fuck did you potentially kill my daughter? Not actually, but like she could have been axe murdered.
I don't want to overstate the importance of the criminal we apprehended here, but I mean, hell,
He does not know who this criminal is.
Right. I think Ash could probably tell you better than me that this is an extremely important member of the Shatterers' whole shtick, to put it
Operation.
mildly. Yes.
He's like a
Yes.
cornerstone.
Yes, the man we have apprehended is one Phylo Carmire. He is a disgraced magic crystal researcher who is currently aiding the Shatterers on an incredibly significant and assumedly incredibly dangerous project. We believe he has answers that could potentially prevent them from doing anything from completing their plans and doing anything on the scale that they did in the capital.
So as you say that he's Phylo Carmire, the Duke's face dawns with a level of, why is that name familiar? And then as you explain it, he gets more and more irritated, I guess. Not at you necessarily, more at Phylo.
He's got history with this guy of some sort.
Sort of. The Duke sighs, placing his hands on his hips. He looks at the doctor. How such a man escaped a prison under my very own eyes, I will never understand.
I see.
Yes, Phylo was imprisoned here in Vega, as we learned last time, and then he escaped. Apparently not very far. Very well then, at least he's been caught. Guards, when Gyro arrives, have our fair doctor here locked away and watched constantly until the Shatter Guard can be contacted to return him to a cell in the Stone Fort. Thank you, heroes. I apologize for the apprehension. We will take it from here then.
Would any of us have described that? I mean, there was literally a person potentially. I know they weren't chasing me anymore, but would we have described what went on with people potentially trying to?
So actually, unless you told the party, which I guess we didn't discuss. Did you tell everyone about that? I assume so.
Oh yeah, we technically don't know about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So a
we could do it off. Yeah.
Serious weapon Sonic the Hedgehog spin dashed at Chiron and caught his ass, and then he managed to elude. No, the Duke has not. The Duke doesn't know shit about this.
Them or the potential other person who might be interested in getting them back.
Safaria too. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like Ash is literally about to say, "Hey, can we have some things we really need to talk to this criminal about."
Yes, I'm obviously going to say that you have to let me question this man.
Let us. Yes, us.
I guess at that statement, if Alistair could step in and try and massage that sentence, because the saying of "you have to let us question him" might seem a little forward to say to a Duke, and Alistair has the courtly graces to kind of hopefully.
Yeah.
What my colleague here means is, listen, as I said already, this is an extremely important criminal for us to have caught. Involved in so many things that the Shatterers are working on. And as it stands, actually, my colleague, and I put my hand on Ash's shoulder, happens to have first-hand knowledge and expertise at dealing with him. And we would really appreciate the circumstances to allow us to question him immediately.
Well, you also should lock this place down because
He already did that.
Well, double it down. Let's double it. Whatever you've got, double the men. Because
also,
that's actually a good little note there to mention. So when he would lock this place down, those are not Shatter Guard. Those are the Shamari's own soldiers.
Okay.
They're similar to the Keltiers, they maintain their own military force separate from the Shatter Guard. Shatter Guard have a presence here. It's not as big. They very similar to actually the Mages College in Rotmar, butt heads with the Shatter Guard a lot because Shapers live here. They like to build stuff. That's their whole thing. They use magic to make like buildings and boats and shit. And the Shadow Guard are like, hey, no.
Yeah, you're using the resources.
Yeah.
Also, I guess if I could take this moment to warn him about the company's building that we broke into, they're heavily involved and they should probably be investigated like yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, let's take this beat by beat. So roll a persuasion check to convince him to let you interrogate, obviously.
Great. That is a dirty 20.
Okay.
Okay, not bad.
Sort of at your like pressing that this is A, important, and B, that like Ash is going to be the best person to interrogate him. The Duke strokes his chin a bit.
Hell yeah.
Very well then, and once you are concluded, I will call the Shatter Guard to take him away, or what's the whole deal there, Chief?
I think that's a good idea, yeah?
No.
Should we
No, it's not.
get confirmation with Marin or someone?
We
Yeah.
need to discuss with the guild the best course of action to do with him.
I was just saying, I'd rather kill him than give him to the Shatter Guard.
We do know that they have spies. That's a good point.
Philo's like, well, hold on now. That doesn't sound like the best idea. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, I guess also if I could have, texted Vessler, been like, hey, we caught Carmire.
We did that last time.
We did that? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hanging out with the Shamaris.
So you would prefer Marin takes him from here, I suppose?
I mean, I feel like we just want guidance from our bosses.
Yeah.
I mean no disrespect, but he was under Shatter Guard control when he got out last time. I'm hesitant to put him back in the same situation he was able to escape from.
Persuasion check.
Yeah, sure. A 15.
Okay.
I have been, let's say, accused of playing favorites with the guild in the past. I don't necessarily want to further push my strained relationship with the Shatter Guard. However, barring what you say, I see some merit in perhaps waiting to contact our friends in the Shatter Guard. Very well. I will write to Marin as you take our friend here and interrogate. Let's just say interrogate him. And once you are concluded, we will figure out how best to proceed.
Thank you very, very much for your consideration in this matter.
Sounds great.
Chris, with the Emperor dead,
Yes.
and I don't think there's been like an official thing to like.
The prince has not been crowned.
We haven't done a coronation.
It's only been like a month.
Yeah, there's been no official coronation. Does that mean like this dude's like basically one of, if not the most powerful people at this point?
So he would have basically already been that. So the way the government works in the Empire is that there is like a general assembly of nobility, and they vote on shit. But then like the guild also has a small number of votes. The Mage's Call has a small number of votes. The Shadow Guard do not get to vote. That is.
Would he just then have maybe some more soft power because the Emperor's gone? Not like actual hard voting power or anything like that.
Yeah, more soft power, more influence than anything else. Like currently speaking, the Emperor's the Empress, the Emperor's wife would be like sort of like sitting in his seat. But beyond that, it's relatively the same. It's also worth note, Kadabe and Iris are both way the fuck older than the Emperor or even the Emperor before that. So
they've been
in government for a very long time.
Yeah.
So they might have a lot more soft power than any of the
Duke here would be probably in his like 130s, give or take.
Okay.
Maybe a little older than that, maybe like 150.
Great.
Okay, great. One of the doors to the foyer opens, and Kadabe turns his head to confirm who it is before looking back over at all you. He remains silent, sort of still thinking this whole thing over, as a younger man approaches. A wide smile set onto his face as he steps alongside the Duke. He places a hand on the Duke's shoulder. Father, you called? He speaks properly, but as the Duke looks at him, he sort of reads the room. He removes his hand and tries to play it off as like fixing his cloak. Kadabe speaks. Heroes, my eldest son, Gyro Shamari, commander of the House's armed forces. He speaks, and Gyro does like a grand fancy boy bow to you all. Shout out to patron Gogo Zeppeli for Gyro. If it's supposed to be Euro or Hero, fucking sorry about it.
No, it's clearly Gyro because of Gyromon.
Well, I figured like gyroscopes, Gogo Zeppeli, Zeppelin. There's something there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let us know down in the comments.
That or you're Greek and it's Euro.
Literally,
Well, does he happen to make a good Greek tangent?
Who knows?
If you're Greek, let us know here like a save and throw down in the comments.
literally, I'm sad you did that because I was gonna do a bit where Alistair pronounces it Euro because of his accent.
Damn it. I wanted to get ahead of it because it's a patron name and they
Yeah,
real
no, that's a
human
good
money.
point. That's a good point.
The young prince speaks. Heroes of the Empire. Well, the pleasure is certainly all mine. He speaks, and can I get an insight check from Win?
Yep.
Ooh.
15 plus 4, 19.
As he speaks, like lifts up from his bow and acknowledges you all as members of the guild, you see that same sort of like glint in his eye that Sahia gets, just sort of like delight at the prospect of you all being heroes.
Oh, I love this.
Fucking nerds.
It got glossed over, but like Sahi is a fucking dweebus. Like she wore like a dragon mask to the masquerade. Like you guys are fucking.
Oh, we know. We've
They're
noticed.
Okay, making sure.
And I love it.
They want to be playing. They want to play D&D.
Yes.
Fucking love it.
Oh, I love that.
We should get them in a game.
Play D. You guys want some D&D in your D&D?
That's
No
meta.
recursion.
A whole arc where you guys are playing a game of D&D and like the characters getting so frustrated at all the rules. The Duke speaks again. Gyro, escort these heroes to our guests to whatever will do best as a holding cell, and then I want you all to find out everything you can from the doctor. Now, I will go and make everything appear as it is utterly normal. Do try to be swift. It's only so long before people start asking questions about why the palace and the city are on sudden high alert.
That is completely fair.
Yeah.
Do our best to not dawdle.
With that, he nods, and the Duke turns and departs, muttering to himself as he goes, and his son claps hand together. Right, okay, we don't have much in the way of a dungeon in the palace, and it seems we don't want to go about moving this dude to the city proper, so let's go this way. The prince seems to be sort of making it up as he goes, but he leads you all down one of the many hallways of the very impressively sculpted palace. Do I have another piece of art for this? I do.
Ooh.
Palace of the Shapers, this thing is fucking gorgeous. Basically, if you look up at any point, it's mostly the Shapers stone. It's a much smaller version of the hearth. Think like a 10th, maybe 15th of the size. And it's,
but enough to do some magic.
Enough to make it so like it's your magic is just overall stronger here.
Nice.
Similar to Rotmar. And like if you're pulling magic, say to do like shaping magic, like you have a familiarity with it, it's gonna be a lot easier kind of thing.
Does this stone like enhance shaping magic specifically?
So the short answer is yes. Long lore answer is that's kind of up for debate if it's actually thing or placebo. So Donat Shamari, one of the heroes, he was like the first real shaper. Technically his mother invented the concept of it, but he was the one that like made it a whole thing and then made the Shapers Guild as well. And then like, he basically built most of this city by hand in its original state.
In a cave with a box of scraps?
Everyone that learned how to do it learned it originally from him and then, treed out. So he claims yes. Whether that's true or not, completely debatable. Gyro speaks. Do cut my father a bit of slack. He's, well, on edge since the sudden death of the Emperor. I mean, the Emperor was barely older than I, but human royalty complicates feelings sometimes.
I mean, to be honest, I think we're all still kind of a little on edge since the death of the Emperor.
Yeah, it's a pretty tense situation, I'd say, Gyro.
And so, just while we're chatting, Chaja is somehow involved in this whole thing, or...
Yeah, I'd say so.
She helped us out. She's kind of like an informant.
No. So
No,
Chaja
Jadestone.
Jadestone is the alleged head of this Jadestone company.
Right.
Yeah.
Chaja,
Mixed her up
Chaja.
with the other one.
We do not.
I mixed her up with Sasuke.
Shout out to Kacha Woodchuck for Chaja.
Yes.
Nice.
We do not know Chaja as an individual's involvement, but her company. At a minimum, we know her company is being used for nefarious purposes.
I mean,
They're working with the Shatterers specifically.
It just really doesn't seem possible. I mean, it's not like her at all. I mean, she's a businesswoman.
We didn't accuse her, we accused her company. Difference.
Companies on people. Yeah, he just got really close to the microphone for that.
Oh, okay. Eventually, Gyro stops the door. Right, okay, I think this should do. Just give us a minute to get it set for an interrogation, I suppose? He opens the door and enters along with the guards to get the room prepped a little bit for our interrogation moment. This isn't like he's gonna escape, so take it. This is more I want to give you guys a moment to discuss a plan without any other characters around.
Yes.
So,
God bless.
My big thing is, instead of more focusing on the interrogation, is making sure this room is on lockdown, even though he already said it is.
yeah, I mean, basically,
we've had some weird stuff where people have come in through
We'll
portals.
talk about it
and
as we
stuff,
walk in, but this is a room that has one entrance. There's no other escape, and like they're gonna keep it guarded.
Okay.
It's the newly refurbished room that used to be the bad room.
This used to be the bad interrogation room. Now it's the fancy interrogation room.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions in particular I'm thinking of asking, but I mean, I feel like, Ash, this is kind of your court. I think the main thing we have to ask ourselves is what's our method of attack here. Obviously, I do have the liar's candle, but if he doesn't believe me and he does lie, it could kill him in one shot, honestly.
I don't think we want to risk killing him.
I would note this is a level 0 character.
Exactly.
And that will kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I can revive him,
That's now you're thinking.
but I kind of don't want to be that evil.
Just
Look,
keep killing and reviving until he talks.
Our leverage right now is the fact that he knows they will kill him they might kill him no matter what.
That's true, honestly. Salfaria seems pretty intent on,
That's our best leverage at this point, is we might be the only people capable of keeping him alive at this point, even if jail is not his preferred destination.
I love that.
I'm sure he has some bargaining power of his own up his sleeve.
Also, just like
Given how much he knows, he certainly does. But
academics
more than
and
anything, he seems to value. But more than anything, he seems to value being alive.
This is true.
and the scientist types like talking about the things that they make and do. So I feel like it won't be that difficult to get him to talk about the things that he makes and does.
I definitely got the vibes that he likes to hear himself talk. I understand that's a little pot calling the kettle, but takes one to know one.
If you realize how many notes I have written over here for just this upcoming segment, oh boy, are you correct?
Yeah.
There's points where I was writing it where I was like, Jesus, will this guy shut the fuck up?
Also, this is neither here nor there, but I do want to apologize for the rash move I made. I'm the first person to preach strategy, and I kind of ignored that, so I do apologies and thanks for having my back, everyone.
Absolutely. Hey, for what it's worth, I thought that was a pretty baller move, and it paid off, so...
Or
I'm gonna walk up and stuff a buckler in his shirt.
Fuck yeah.
Ash's shirt specifically.
Actually, if I can take a second, we all did fucking awesome back there. Like, everyone worked as a team, and it fucking ruled. Go us.
Hell yeah.
Still gotta work on that team name, but
Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
I would like to emphasize to Gyro before we start the interrogation, not to talk to Chadia about this, please.
Oh yeah.
He'll be staying with you for this whole segment.
Okay.
Cool.
So basically, like during this whole thing, like the thing is keep your fucking eyes on this guy because he's a slime ball.
Yeah.
Gyro is calling him like a commander is giving him way too much credit. He's like the head of the city guard, more or less.
Yeah.
Look, they're not fucking fighting any wars on the frequent. Like the worst thing he has to do is like go fucking round up some bandits kind of deal. So like, but he is, he is a military commander and he is in charge of the safety of the city. So he's like, this is an important to do for him.
I just got big Chaja's done nothing wrong vibes from him, and I don't know if that's true or not.
You are getting those vibes from him. That's
yeah. So I would like to specifically inform him that, hey, whatever is said in this palace does not get repeated to Chadia.
Well, here's my
do not
question.
talk to her about this.
Do you want him to sit in on the interrogation or not?
no.
Also, probably not.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all.
I don't trust anybody but the five of us, unfortunately.
I would rather him not, but but if he insists, I'm not gonna
fight it.
I'm not gonna bog things down trying to stop him. I know that's probably not a power we have.
He's definitely gonna try to stay in if y'all want to kick him out. That's what I'm telling you.
I mean, I can absolutely pull we'll take it from here,
I'm up for let's try and persuade him, but if it doesn't work, I'm not gonna push the topic.
Let's go with this. So, you all enter the room to find it basically a sitting or drawing room that Gyro and his guards have hastily turned into a room suitable for this, moving all the furniture out of the way except for a table in the center of the room where Phylo Carmire presently sits. It seems the Shamari fed him as he is, honestly, kind of disgustingly wolfing down a bowl of something, taking a break to guzzle some water. And the guards take the food away and Gyro motions for them to leave. Guard the door. Someone so much as looks down the hallway, you let us know. He orders as they do so, heading outside the door. But remaining inside himself.
Thank you very much, Gyro. We will take it from here.
He's like, right, take it away. And he stands there.
Listen,
This could get ugly.
I don't want to make this uncomfortable, but assuming we will be left alone for this, listen, as a very, very minor royal to a much, much higher one, I will see to you, but if you insist.
I do insist.
Okay.
And then he leans in. I don't want to make a whole thing of this, but I think it's better that we present a united front against him so he doesn't see division and the ability to split us up and divide us here. Hey, Alistair, he's rolling persuasion against you, motherfucker.
I mean, I'm really good at persuasion, so I'm not too worried about it.
Charisma check, so is he.
Okay. That's a 17 plus, I think, 11.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah.
I think 11 persuasion? Yeah, it's 11.
28?
28.
He got 24, so it was
okay.
Close to the
Everyone else is very persuaded.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I didn't really think about how this is going to work. He didn't convince you, per se, but what do you say in response to that?
Listen, I say... That's fine. I'd rather us work together than against each other.
Then he takes a step back to let you guys lead it, he's gonna lean against the wall effectively. Because well then, I suppose I'll let you all. And he is interrupted by Dr. Carmire.
Oh, of course he is.
God damn it.
Corin Ramnarantz. Dr. Carmire interrupts, Gyro, looking at you, Ash. I knew you looked familiar, young man, but Corin never had any children. I seem to recall him mentioning a nephew, a researcher like myself and he, but judging where we find ourselves, no longer a researcher, I see.
Do I have a chair I can sit down in front of him on?
Yeah, there's chairs.
Sit down backwards on it. Show me mean business.
Let's wrap.
Honestly, that might be more comfortable with the wings.
Yeah.
I was literally going to say I take a chair, spin it around, and sit on it.
Let's go.
Zach, you actually beat me to that comment.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, you sit.
Yeah. On a different occasion, this would be an incredibly enjoyable day for me. A young researcher getting to pick the brains of one of the most brilliant in the field. Alas,
Tweaks his mustache happily.
I am no longer a simple researcher, and you have decided to dabble in terrorism.
I dabble.
So unfortunately, this will not be as pleasant as I would have liked it to be.
I'm something of a terrorist myself.
Can't believe Luigi hit again.
Jesus.
If you don't tell us everything we want to know, I know an Italian.
Fine, I made the city bike that you're on the way on. That's all you want to hear. Phylo smiles at you, Ash. Well, then, may I propose an exchange of information? I'm sure you have many questions, my work, the Shatterers, so much to discuss. Perhaps we can get to know each other over a chat. You ask a question, I answer. I ask a question, you do the same. How does that sound?
I don't think we're in the same situation. Like, respectfully, actually, no, disrespectfully.
Correct.
We have you at a disadvantage right now, and also, you're not in a good spot, my guy. Like, you're in a dungeon.
You're also a disgrace to doctors everywhere.
He's not a medical doctor, but yes, sure. He is also, to be fair, he is also a disgrace to regular doctors. This guy sucks. But Alistair, to what you say, I'm not some old fool who doesn't know what's what. My information has value. Otherwise, I would have been dead 2 decades ago. As I said to Selfaria, I'm too valuable to kill or to keep alive. But if you wish to merely waste time, that's quite all right. When time ticks away, I end up back in a cell. I understand that. Where I will inevitably get out. But you all don't have the luxury of time.
If you think you're too valuable to kill, let me inform you that our friend here, point to Alistair, disguised himself as you when we left, and Selfaria fired a bolt straight through his shoulder. You're not too valuable.
Oh yeah, no, they want to kill you, dog. We are the only people keeping you alive.
I mean, he said that though.
Yeah,
I know.
He understands that what happens here, he likely ends up dead. But
I'm just emphasizing that he is not too valuable to kill. They're willing to do it.
And to that extent, we are the only people keeping you alive. So I think.
So who's to say you're gonna go to prison? Maybe if we don't like what you say, you think you're gonna escape prison. You might not even do that, depending on your answers here.
I escaped prison last time and did nothing just to even usher it forward.
And you might be dead before you even go there. So better listen and answer correctly. And listen to this. My friend
we also
here
didn't call the Shatter Guard this time.
I'll also just point out,
It's us.
you might be even if you were too valuable to permanently kill, we do know some magic.
What a novel concept in this world.
I love living in a world where you could threaten to temporarily kill someone. I will kill you, and maybe I'll bring you back.
That's okay. Honestly, the rest of your threats to this dude mean fuck all. Wins is pretty good. Persuasion check. Intimidation. Sorry, intimidation.
Intimidation. Oh, not great. 1 sec. What's my intimidation? +1. That's a 9.
Okay. and all of your threatening and grandstanding, he's bemused, but ends with, I'm not inadmissible to compromise. How about you take the first 2 questions?
Sorry, eating Skittles.
How about I take your life, you son of a bitch?
Gotta take your kneecaps.
I'll play along.
We'll call your bookie. No!
I bet you this dude would gamble a ton.
Oh yeah, he totally would.
Yeah. What's Chris? What is the what's the best horse racing equivalent in this world? Is it that rat fighting from the bar, or is there a high class form of gambling?
Well, mouse hook boxing is huge, obviously.
Okay.
Boxing.
It is horse racing, but all the horses have knives. They're in their mouths. They are.
All right.
Do you want me to repeat the last thing Phylo said, by the way, before all this, just in case it affects what you're going to say?
He said, "I'll let you ask the first 2, right?"
Yes, but before that, so basically the whole thing about, like, he knows that he's too valuable to kill or be kept alive. He's in this limbo state. But he said, if you really, I'm gonna read it in non-character voice. If you wish to merely waste time, that's all right. When time ticks away, I end up back in a cell where I will inevitably get out. But you all don't have the luxury of time.
Correct. I did hear that.
What does he
Okay.
mean by that?
Anyway, take it away, Ash. I got a bunch of answers here for all variety of questions about the plot of the game, so go for it.
Who is the big bad?
What is
Me! The victim answer.
I was just gonna say, what is the Shatterers' plan, and what role does a Dictomancer play?
He's behind it all!
Harvey Dent, can we trust him?
He's gonna make everyone be nude all the time!
It's the Psychonaut scene where Raz get interrogated, like, who is the milkman? But it's the Dictomancer. Who is the Dictomancer?
He's like, I don't fucking know. Who are you talking
What
about?
is the meaning of the fireballs?
What are you helping the Shatterers with?
Checking, hold on. Well, yes, in my lab, so to speak, in my lovely little prison, you'll find my Force Crystal Interrupter, assuming they've not already moved it. Well, I actually split this up into 2 parts because I thought you'd ask in a different order, but, you see, at the Battle of Kinmar, TL in all of her might, not strong enough to simply shatter a hearth on her own. Such would be absurd. Her strongest arrow, coupled with the magic of Ravio Masalor to amplify it in size, potency, structure, and the magic of Kassira to make a bigger boom, I suppose. So amongst my many works, that has always been the top of my lists. To create something that enables TL to shatter the hearth. My principal research has always been in crystal studies, the replication of magic without the cost. But my current benefactors are much more interested in the military applications of my work. In particular, their main focus has been that weapon.
Fucking bureaucrats, am I right?
I'll actually give you a little more because you asked directly about the weapon. So the other thing he would tell you is, in my lab, you'll find the operation key. Without that, the interrupter won't fire. Think of it like a failsafe. It ensures the magic inside the machine flows properly, completes the loop. However, if you were to use it on, say, a magic user, it would turn their magic off, at least for a while.
Ooh.
So two things here. There is a big device called a Force Crystal Interrupter. It's what he's calling it.
Yes.
It's a big crystal weapon that, in theory, could be used in conjunction with TL somehow to make to shatter.
Amplify her arrows so the
However-
would shatter a hearth.
However, there is like a fail-safe key to make sure that it isn't just fired willy-nilly. It is, according to him, with the device currently.
Okay.
Okay. And what do you mean by what? Would I need to ask him, or can you say what do you mean by like it would turn someone's magic off?
When you see it, you'll understand what that means.
Okay.
All right.
So TL wants to shatter the hearth, And knowing she doesn't have the strength of someone like Raviom or Kasira this time, she's looking towards technology to replicate what her former allies could do.
Precisely. And just to clarify also, it's not merely Miss Tiel's goal. It is all of their goal.
The Shatterers.
Mhm.
Correct.
And you said this device currently is at your lab.
Yes, which is in a mine. We got like the information of like where the spawn were being shipped to last time. It is that same location. It is Big Kerbo the Big Kerbo mine. Shout out patron Big Kerbo.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Not to be
It's
confused
another
with
one of those locations.
not to be confused with the Little Kerbo mine. That's down the road.
That's so good.
Where is the Big Kerbo mine?
It's so.
I feel like we don't need to ask him that question. You can probably get it from a map.
Gyro could tell you. So actually, that's a good point. He actually does not know the name of the mine he's being kept at. So I would say that you guys probably wouldn't say this in front of him. But Gyro could tell you where it is.
Okay.
So, sorry, not Corn. That's your uncle. Phylo was kept in the dark on a lot of things by the Shatterers, from what you can
That's fair. That's fair.
Mostly because he'd probably try to find a way to escape if he knew where he was.
Fair enough.
He did. That's question. We've done question 1, right?
Yes, correct. That's question 1.
Okay. Question 2, I think, should be, and deliberate with the group before fully asking this. But
Yeah, you all can mutter to yourselves.
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
who? It's like communicating with the fucking Fae. like a genie. Gotta word your
exactly.
questions accurately.
Yeah.
But instead of an all-powerful Fae, it's just a shithead.
It's just a shithead.
One shitty guy.
What powerful figures are members of the Shatterers? Is that
I feel like he won't know. They probably keep him in the dark.
That's
If they won't
true.
tell him the mine that he's in, I feel like they won't tell him who the powerful figures are.
To that, I would say he's at least interacted with some of them because
I was gonna say, I
he's
still
with
want
Selfaria.
to ask it.
I still want to know. I just don't know if it should be like the second question we ask.
Feel free to have someone else ask it with
Fair,
better wording
yeah.
than Win.
I mean, it's the thing where, like, one of the other things I thought was interesting from the encounter was that several of the Shatterers apparently do not know about the spawn that they're trying to acquire, and he actively killed them for not being under a
They were
spell.
Shatterers. They were
Those were
warehouse workers.
Jadestone employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was up. Safar was upset that the dude didn't bring in Shatterers they could
Narus,
trust.
yeah.
He just used his own employees,
Although,
and they were expendable.
They did mention
What, do you
under Ren Naru's ladies spell, which is a whole other angle.
And I will also, just because this was definitely a small conversation, Ren was not in that conversation considered a Shatterer by Selfaria or the Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
He was.
He was considered like an associate at best, I would say.
Oh, okay.
That does lead into a question we might want to ask, which is, like, what importance do the spawn have to the Shatterers or to your experiments?
Right.
Do you want to ask about Shatter or do you want to ask about Spawn is what I would say to that, because I have answers for both and they're both kind of long.
All right. I'll ask. Okay. Yeah. I'll ask about the spawn.
Okay.
Go for it.
He loves that you asked this fucking question.
Cool.
He smiles big. Yes, the Spawn. Marvelous creatures, aren't they? Fascinating. Well, originally not one of my chief concerns of my research, but TL's preferred would be... You fought her, right? How was that? This is not him asking a question like a smart ass is asking him asking.
It sucked ass.
She was very strong. I won't lie about that.
Yeah, she packs a punch.
And you saw her, well, cloak, I suppose. Something she picked up in her time hunting the cult. I'm fascinated by its construction still. It devours magic and emboldens her in the process. something she's, well, keen to continue making stronger. But it has its limits, much like a spawn. It can't intake too much at once, or boom. But with time and proper draining of, let's say, a crystal, it can continue to feed and feed, much like a spawn. I believe there's some connection between the two. I'm certain of that much, even down to the material of it. But understanding that has been TL's preferred research of mine. You see, each of them has their own goals beneath their banner, and hers is selfish. So he was, in particular, getting spawned for TL, not for the regular
Not
research.
for his research.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, to note, when we picked up the journal about spawn stuff at the cult headquarters, there was an entry in there about turning spawn into crystals.
Crystals.
Yes.
That's okay. I knew I had that piece of information. I couldn't remember where I learned that.
But he, at least here, didn't mention that.
Okay.
Could you refresh me on her cloak? I don't remember that being a thing in our fight,
So-
but
TL
It's
was
been
like
a year.
made of, quote unquote, of like that blue and black weird
Flame.
magic.
Yeah.
And when it looked like flame, yes. And when you hit her with fire, it seemed to like extra combust.
Yes.
And that's all the information we really gained from that.
Okay.
When you also when you fought the other shatterers, including Selfaria and Troton at the party at Rontmar, one of them summoned little goobers that kind of looked like TL,
Yes.
and also went boom when fire touched them.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's some form of magic, but at least in the way that Phylo's talking about it, doesn't seem to be quite the same as his like regular evil magic, anti-magic nonsense that he's working on.
We fought Troton, Selfaria, and Mr. Subtle.
Fucking
And
never forget.
Mr. Subtle.
And a monk-like shatterer.
Wait, was that not Selfaria?
Well, the monk one wasn't engulfed in like the black and blue flame.
So
type
it
stuff, right?
it seemed like for Selfaria, the monk one, and Miss Shuttle, they were like disguised. It wasn't like
Yeah.
that armor. It was a masquerade. They were hiding their
Shit,
identity.
wait,
but as we
was the monk one the fucking one that attacked Chiron on the roof and we didn't know that?
why don't we keep asking questions and find out?
No.
But his turn. Mr. Ramirance, may I ask, why did you choose to leave behind your research, your studies for this life?
Do you know anything about clockwork magic?
Ooh, no. Enlighten me.
Well,
I mean, he understands like the basic concepts of
Yeah.
magic, but like, no.
well, I won't bore you with the full story, but one day while sleeping,
Had a dream.
something changed in me. I was struck and my eyes were open to a new type of magic I had not experienced before. It is the magic of clockwork, the primordial magic that dictates order in the universe. And when that event occurred, I was no longer able to confine myself to simply researching one area of study. I felt a compulsion to seek out something more.
Good.
And the guild and joining the guild was simply the most convenient way to get there.
Who besides Chiron feels like they're the most paranoid about this motherfucker, or like the most like least like trusting of even him sitting here?
Besides me?
Besides you, you're already rolling for this. Actually, no, just
Alright.
Chiron. Chiron perception check.
I was just saying, fuck this guy. Well, I kind of want to kill him, that's why.
15.
Chiron claims to love life, wants to kill this guy.
So
He's destroying life.
Oh no, yeah, he's
15.
terrible.
Well, so as Ash is speaking, Karen, you notice that Philo's hand, he's like in his lap, and he moves up to the table, and of course you're like, hey, what's he doing? But then he's like using one of his fingers, and almost like he's writing notes on the table to himself in his brain as Ash is speaking, and he ends with, fascinating. Your turn.
I put an injection needle. I stab it in between his fingers when he does that.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say like, yeah, you do that, and that's an interesting
Intimidation check, come on.
Roll the intimidation check. I just want to see if like you.
It's a fucking sick ass. That's a good cop, bad cop move for sure.
I don't have good intimidation, no. 10.
Aw.
You actually tied him. So you stab the needle in, and he like looks up and down your arm and seeing like your medical gauntlet. Never had much the aptitude for medical science. Anyway, your turn. He returns the floor to you, Ash, or whoever wants to ask a question.
Where do we want to go next with this? What was the other question we were like debating asking?
It was to see is he aware of anyone else in the Shatterers leadership of note?
You want to ask that?
Not a bad question. I'm okay with it.
I was trying to think if there's a follow-up to the Spawn question that I needed to ask, but I kind of got what I wanted from that.
What might be more helpful is asking about like the interrupter itself, like how does it work, or how do we
You might love to talk
stop
about
it
that,
from
too.
working necessarily if we need to.
He's already told us there's a fail-safe key to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Beyond that, we don't really know much about it, though.
I'm gonna be 100% real with you. There, like, if he starts talking about like the intricacies of it, there's no shot in fuck anyone but maybe Ash understands what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm aware of that.
Just so like, because I don't want to. There's nothing that's gonna kill people listening to this more than listening to me talk about magic science. Like doing a fucking lesson here. It's think of it like a big crystal gun.
Awesome.
And like it makes like a crystal ball thingy that TL can. So full closure. TL kills the hearth by shooting her biggest, strongest, most handsome arrow. Raviome makes like a spell to make it stronger. Kassira makes a spell to make it even stronger. Boom.
Yeah. They double in large number.
The crystal, yes, actually yes. The crystal interrupter just makes the thing that TL has to shoot in order to blow the crystal up. It basically, in like a video game where like you put like the weak point marker on an enemy, it does that for a hearth.
Actually, here's another question. Do we know? Would we want to ask why they wanted to destroy the hearth?
I think you should ask about the shatterers first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever their reason is, I kind of want to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, so shatterers.
Yes. Do you know who else? I know the Shadows have been trying to keep you in the dark, but have you met any other leaders of import?
Of course, how can one understand math if they don't know the numbers? He sort of mumbles his words, scratching his beard. Well, there are officially 6 of them. Each have their own motivations and reasons for joining the cause, and then certain elements have their own underlings, I suppose, but 6 of them in proper. 6 proper shatterers. Troton Ocelora, you've met, as I understand. He'd be the first to tell you what he is, but he is most pure, I suppose, in intention. He simply wants to shatter the hearth. No more magic. But he has been pivotal to the operation, forthcoming with information. He brought me Raviome's research, some of it, and his time in Ekron brought us Miss Jadestone. Tale of Kinmar, as you know, I'm not sure if it was her idea from the jump or if she was merely the first one brought into the fold. Her goal is, as I said, the most selfish. Strength above all else. She wants to be stronger. Unstoppable. No. Unkillable. That's more like it.
I knew you were gonna say that. That's still a raw line.
Shadja Jadestone, the Rasi. One of the harder ones to put a label on. She's greedy, volatile, and strong. She wants her magic controllable, I suppose. And she wants her city to rule over.
Hey, Chris, before you continue, how does Gyro look when you?
I was gonna say,
Shadja?
I glance back at Gyro when he says Shadja's officially a shatterer.
He's leaning up against the back wall and letting y'all do your hero thing. And when he starts talking about Shadja, he sort of leans forward, like he's not interjecting the conversation, but he's obviously paying more attention and listening more intently now. Yeah. Continuing. My Selfaria, well, simply put, her continued existence hinges on their success. On my research's success. And...
Sorry, before you go on to the other two, could you clarify that?
If you want to ask about any individuals, it's going to be a separate question.
That's bullshit. Fuck you.
Yell at him. He's an asshole.
I am.
Who was the first person you talked about again?
True.
I'll go through it again now at the end. Let me just finish.
Yeah.
And the final two, the head of the snake and its right hand. Snakes don't have hands. Whatever. I know so little about them. One of them, a magic user of some merit. I've suspected warlock due to the secretive nature of it, but I've never had a good mind for practical magic. I consider him a cheap imitator of wiser mages. You've seen their copy of the teleportation magics of Damre Andal, and the copy of TL's cloak. Parlor tricks compared to real magic as far as I'm concerned. But then their leader. Well, I sadly have almost nothing to inform you of. A man, I believe. I've suspected Shatterguard or perhaps some manner of higher up, but in truth, nothing adds up to fit a perfect picture of one individual, whether alone or in conjunction with their arcane friend. They are well-connected, well-funded, not as much as you, of course, Lord Shamari. He speaks to Gyro in the back of the room, and able to move about without being detected. But their leader's goal is clear. Shatter the hearth, assume absolute control over magic. No more squabbling over who holds dominion over the hearth, who can cast freely and who cannot. One singular entity or group, in this case, the only ones capable of magic. That's what they mean. To ensure magic is used where needed and utterly limited where not. Of course, that being decided by them. Not a single fireball thrown without permission, but a healing crystal that would never expire, an airship that would never lose flight. That's what they mean for when they say, for what we may become.
Okay, so just to be clear, it was Troton Ocelor,
Yes, so,
Seal of Kinmar, Shadja Jadestone.
Running this down.
Yeah.
Troton Ocelor. We met him at Rontmar. Big guy, big axe, extremely angry man. He's the man literally too angry to die meme.
Yes.
He's mean.
He's mean. And according to Phylo here, his goal is literally just to shatter the hearth so there's no more magic.
Yeah.
TL. TL of Kinmar, disgraced hero, now murdering psychopath, wants to be stronger, and in Phylo's words, unkillable. We also learned in this conversation that he is working on research to basically make her cloak, as he refers to it, able to basically eat more magic so that she is, stronger.
Who is this person again?
TL.
That's
Marin's ex-wife, blue lady you fought in...
Yeah. I meant sorry, who's the name? Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. Shadja Jadestone. He said she's greedy, volatile, and strong, wants her magic controllable, and wants her city to rule over.
Which she lives in this city.
Yep.
Yep.
This city.
She's not from here, is the important part.
Oh.
He also
That's right. She's from Ekron.
he referred to her as a Rasi,
Yes.
which is we can come back to that.
Okay.
Selfaria, which he referred to as my Selfaria.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And he
point that
said,
out.
simply put, her continued existence hinges on their success, my success.
Mhm.
And the final two, he doesn't know anything about either of them really. One of them is a magic user, and one of them is some dude. And he doesn't necessarily know from what parts come what, but they seem to be very well connected and well funded. They funded this whole operation as far as he understands.
Okay.
And they are clearly at least one of them is clearly in command of this operation.
Gotcha.
His turn. Ash. How is old Corin? Did he ever figure out that crystal fuser, was it?
My uncle's doing fine. He was the person who first mentioned your name, interestingly enough. I'm surprised that you've even heard of him.
They have worked together in brief.
Right.
But that's all. And then he just sorry, his voice is killing me.
That's fine.
And that he just smiles. Lovely to hear. Your turn.
Okay, metagaming, mumbling conversation to the side.
Did anyone want to roll a religion check on what a Rasi is?
Oh.
I would.
Yeah, I would like to.
I would like
That
to
was one thing
not
I
have
DM'd you
done
about
that.
of what did that mean? And I didn't read the document.
You two are the best people to do that. And an educated rich boy and someone who's traveled.
I'm not good at religion though. I'm good at history.
Yeah, but honestly, it's kind of the thing where it's like it wouldn't really make sense for anyone else. I mean, maybe Ash.
I got a 15, so it's probably good enough.
I got a
anyways.
7.
Okay. Yes. A Rasi in super brief because this is not important to us necessarily. So if in case you ever want to read the saving throw of religion doc, it's linked in our Discord in the pinned D&D section. So we have religions in saving throw. We worship gods here in Destenia. In Ekron, they believe in a more of a monotheistic sort of setup, which there's an inactive god that is way up in heaven. And they also have what they call Rasi. Think of these sort of like demigods, but more important. They're
More important than demigods.
That's crazy,
yes,
bro.
So
we call those gods.
As opposed to being like half god, half mortal, these are pieces of God, effectively, that live
on Earth,
on our plane for a certain amount of time before fucking off.
That's cool as hell.
To be clear, is this real or is this like
so they are real people, and they live in temples effectively and are worshipped as if they were gods or whatever. What the Ekrons deem as a Rasi is kind of confusing and weird. For example, when Arle and Raviome went to Ekron, Ekrons believed them to be Rasi because of how powerful they were. Particularly Arle, because she's the most handsome druid to ever live.
I'm sensing some this is just a powerful wizard.
So
a god?
So it's I would say as someone who isn't of their religion, that definitely seems to be more the case. However, it's also note that like these are powerful wizards to a level that's like I kind of see it. Like if Cassila torches an entire city, you'd be like, yeah, it can be God. What do I know?
Yeah, you get God level
especially
powers.
if you're not like a powerful wizard yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The only thing that particularly interested me out of that lore dump is either one, just because they're close and I would love to follow up with them, Chaja Jadestone, but two, also the mentioning of my Selfaria and that Selfaria needs this research or whatever he's working on in order to continue existing. Otherwise, we can go back to other questions that we were thinking of earlier.
The other question I have is who was the person chasing you and Chiron?
He'll tell you that for free though, Shaja.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, that's huge. What the fuck, Chris?
Yeah, I was like, oh.
So,
Okay.
So, here's actually the way I'm gonna phrase that. Wynn asks that. Let's just say that she does. I'm not burning a question here.
Sure.
He goes, "Oh, you mean Shaja?" As if he expected that to be information you already had.
Right.
God damn it. Because we all
And
reacted
hold on.
super hard.
Hold on. And I'm gonna say, like, he is under the impression you already knew that. Everyone in the call going, "Whoa," isn't the same, unless you guys want your characters to react like that.
I think my character does react like that.
Oh, okay. In that case,
I mean,
then he's like, "Oh, you all didn't know that, huh?"
I look back at fucking Gyro and I'm like, yeah, bro, you know about that.
Dumbfounded expression.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, don't mind if I, Mr. Ramnorance, was it? Was it?
Wait. It's
Can I-
2-1.
It's
2-1.
No,
not
no,
1
it was
to 1.
all- in the beginning.
No, he only offered the first two. Now we're going back and forth.
Never mind.
And I show no hesitation to playing his game.
Okay.
If he wants to ask me whatever he wants, I'll listen.
Was it difficult to cast your scholarly life behind and spend your days fighting, questing, all that gallivanting, rather than sitting down and researching?
Field research is just another type of research. You should know that as well as anyone.
I never much took for it. I would much prefer how my students handle that. Controlled setting is always my preferred.
Nerd.
Alas, the world isn't always so easily controlled. You should try and broaden your horizons. It might help.
I don't think someone in my advanced age has the time for it. Your turn.
So, was your first contact with the Shatterers when they sprung you off that ship in Bright Harbor?
Ooh.
Would that have been the first time I became aware of them? Yes, of course, they were the ones who had me removed from my cell, but I wasn't aware that was Mr. Ocelor until after that.
All right. I was curious if you would react at all to the fact that I knew about Bright Harbor.
So,
If not, that's fine. But
no. But that's important. Give me an insight check.
I rolled really bad. But I am going to use the point of inspiration I had because I solved.
You solved the
hollow.
Yeah, the hollow is what their plan was.
Yeah, and my second's a 21.
Nice.
So the Jadestone thing. He seemed surprised you guys didn't know that. This one, you knew about the Bright Harbor thing. He didn't seem surprised that you knew that.
Okay.
He seems to think you know more than you do.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
We're kind of just like mooks.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to know that.
Balloons.
How can we use that to our advantage? I wish I was smarter to think of a way to use that to our advantage.
Speaking of Bright Harbor, Mr. Ramnorance, how was it watching my crystals in action? I understand both Mr. Jones and the Duke Keltier underwent the effects of them in raw, uninhibited form, uninhibited by the crystal shell itself.
Well, me and Mr. Jones had a pretty good fight.
Mr. Jones and me.
They're quite impressive, Mr. Carmire, but probably a little too dangerous in their current form. Have you thought about refining those a little bit so they don't have such apparent drawbacks?
Well, they're not intended to be broken open in such a ridiculous manner. I mean, they're very valuable. It's so... Yes, it's an unintended side effect when they are opened in such a way. For a second there, he kind of lost it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a out of character question here. Does he know about like the way the crystal worked with Arle in Stay? and all of that
There
shit.
weren't any shatters or anything there, so I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
The stay-arc has nothing to do with, or nothing to do with, but like as far as we know, the Shatterers don't even know Arle's dead. Like TL doesn't even know she's dead.
Yeah, we haven't found, again, our two big antagonists are the Cult and the Shatters, and we have nothing from Stay to link to either of those two, correct?
Yeah, the only thing we know about like TL and Arle is that they very much didn't get along.
We don't have anything linking. I'm forgetting her name. The witch.
Kasira?
The one who fucked with Arle.
Kasira, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Arle fucked with Kasira, right?
Right. Yes.
Yes, other way around.
Yes. Okay.
Do we want to ask him what, if any, connection exists between the Shatters and the cultists?
If we want, I still think the answer is none.
It'd be good to confirm that.
I agree, Prij, that I think that's the answer, but also wouldn't be bad to get confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask it. I'll ask if the Shatterers have had any contact with the Cult of the Broken Sky.
Contact. Contact's an interesting choice of words. Yes, in that regard. Hostile contact, I suppose. TL of Kinmar has not had a good relationship with the Cult of the Broken Sky in her time in our realm. They have been a volatile asset at best. Mr. Calabash Jones had, of course, had his run-in with them, which I understand you were present for. And they hijacked our shipment of spawn, as I now understand, that you were not delivering me that. But beyond that, no.
Sorry, we killed those.
That's a very...
You won't be getting those.
Do you know how many Shatterguard had to die for those to be unimportant?
Well, never mind.
Well, no more are gonna die to them.
Okay.
So
I know it's his turn, but next question should also be connection between the Shatterers and the Shatterguard.
I mean, we know that's the case.
We know that exists.
Yes, but we don't know.
He's given us the 6 names, and none of them are Shatterguard, and none of them.
We have reason to assume one of the two that he doesn't know are Shatterguard.
We have reason to assume one of those last 2 is associated with the Shatterguard, but I don't know if he's going to. If he doesn't know about them, and the 4 he knows about aren't Shatterguard, I don't know if that's a value. I don't know if that's going to bring about a lot of valuable information.
Just like so, while we're recapping, so basically what he's saying for the cult, by the way, is they. At least some level, the cult knows the Shatterers exist, and the cult, Shatterers obviously know the cult exists, duh. They are considered hostile towards one another.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. On the second thing, on the Shatterers thing, yeah, just to clarify, like, the only information he has regarding, like, that final connection is that, like, someone who at least is high up could just be regular military, could be Shatterguard, could not be either, could be, like, government or navy or something like that, is big and important, and is involved, but like he does not know the specifics of that.
Yeah.
And we know from our past interactions with them that some of them are dirty anyway. So
yeah. Actually, I'm gonna give you a little more. I'll roll us in with this one because it's not worth too much talk. Well, of course, the Shatterguard and the Shatterers are on a diametrical position, but the Shatterers have made it clear that were they to be discovered by the Shatterguard, it would lead to a quick end of their operations.
Do you want to clarify that a little more, or
it's really all he knows? Basically, he's saying like, while he's decently confident they have some sort of connection to the Shatterguard, this is not a thing where it's like the Shatterguard are in on it. Like, if they were exposed and, like, if their connection was exposed, they would be taken the fuck out. Or at least he believes that to be the case.
Gotcha.
Oh, so perhaps it's not, like, the head of the Shatterguard, but someone else.
Or rather, it certainly isn't the whole organization.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's also...
Well,
that is like thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and I think we knew the whole
Right,
organization
yeah,
wasn't dirty. Just
Yeah,
that
if he
there's
had
dirty
control of the
elements.
whole organization, they'd probably just stage an open revolt at this point.
That's why I didn't want to, like, you know, take it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Take
if
a bonus question from that.
Right. If you have control of a whole branch of the military, you don't hide that. It's too hard to hide, and you probably make use of that. I think it's his turn though, so.
What about you, Mr. Emerence? Would you give it up? You give up your own magic, that is, to ensure infinite and uninhibited magic for others where it's needed?
Ask if I'm a utilitarian.
So basically, like, he noted that the Shatterer's goal is this, like, basically control, like, no more hearth, but there is infinite magic via his crystals, assuming they determine you need one. He's asking if you were in their shoes, would you give up your magic to have infinite magic for everyone else?
Quite the philosophical question from one I would have assumed more pragmatically inclined. Can't say I would have given such an idea that much thought.
Interesting. Well, as someone that isn't, let's say, blessed with magic myself, I can't fully get my head in the right space. But I think I certainly wouldn't were I you. Call it my selfish nature.
Do we believe that he's actually not magical in any way? Because he did. The only reason I say that is because he just seems so confident he'll get out of prison, and the only way I would say is either
I feel like
like
he's confident people will break him out of prison.
It's more that. That's actually a good point. You don't necessarily know that he doesn't have any magic.
Yeah.
I mean, my ass could cast detect magic, but I don't think I'd have a reason to.
No. And detect magic would have to be magic that's been used recently, right?
Yeah.
Someone would have to be pretty darn powerful for just be radiating magic, right?
It's the thing where I considered casting it when he was doing the weird hand bullshit, but I was like, nah, I think he's just...
I think he's just one of those people who has a good enough memory where if they mimic note-taking, they just memorize it.
Yeah, me too.
He's...
Ash,
maybe
this is a stupid question, but, like... You're the crystal researcher. Does it make sense that his crystals have infinite magic? Like, how the fuck does that make sense? Nothing's infinite, right?
Not if it's out to cost, surely.
Even then, as long as you can pay the cost, it's infinite, but what's the cost?
I think we've seen what the cost is.
Have we?
I think we've seen the
I mean, like, the spawn aren't infinite.
So those, like, the cost of what I think Alistair's referring to is like when you break a crystal, it makes you into basically a monster.
Yeah.
That is not a side effect. That is improper use of these crystals.
That's what I mean. That's using them incorrectly.
And that's also using already charged crystals.
Let me.
So, like, how are they charged to make them infinite? That doesn't. Yo, listen, Junver dumb, but that don't make fucking sense to Junver.
Let me pose this question.
Hold on. Do you want to ask that question? What does he mean, infinite?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll ask it. Like, how is this magic infinite? Infinite's not a thing.
Do any of you have a crystal on you, or a callstone, or something of the sort?
I mean, sure, but I'm not necessarily excited to hand that over to you for reasons you can understand.
Puts his hands up. No need. Hold it out for all of us, please.
If you don't mind, Alistair.
Sure, yeah. If you say so, Ash, and I hold out the callstone.
As you speak to him as Alistair, Dr. Smiles, Alistair, as you see, Alistair here has a callstone. If he writes 1,000 messages on that callstone, eventually it will stop working. It will burn out. However, my crystals never burn out. You can use them every day, as much as you want, again and again and again. Assuming they are made properly, they will never burn out.
Yeah, that was my question.
Okay, yes, Dr. Carmire, please listen. If this discovery is as great as you seem to be implying it is, and rudely, I will say, you love hearing yourself talk about it, why don't you talk about this? Because if you can do what you say you can, you should be Man of the Year, not Criminal of the Year.
Well, when I originally brought my research before the Academy, I was praised for it, and then I was swiftly condemned for it. You see, there is one unfortunate drawback to the creation of them. While the creation of the crystal shell is somewhat easy, the filling of them is where the problem begins to lie. You see, in order to fill a small crystal, you must expend in full a much larger one. However, as I posed in my original theory, were you to at once charge a very, very large number of my crystals in varying sizes, you would no longer have a need for see if you could charge 10,000 crystals in an instant, even if it costs you something unfathomable. What would it matter if we have all the crystals we already need? If we can fill sizes from large to small with all the magic potential that we need, it doesn't matter if we lose something in the process.
Something unfathomable like the hearth?
Is this why you're linked to this group?
No. I'm linked to this group because it is the only way I'm able to continue my research.
Is this what I sound like when I talk about this is awful.
No, you're better than this, my guy. It's okay.
Doctor, you still didn't really answer the question. So you're saying you're working with the Shatterers. Like, it doesn't take a leap of the mind to tell that they want to break the hearth and fill thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these crystals. How are they infinite? They're charged by something that is finite.
So basically what he's saying is that, like, let me say it this way. It's, at this stage, theoretical, but I hypothesize that worth a large enough crystal of my creation, you could use it to then charge smaller ones. But to charge that first very large crystal would be costly in nature.
Okay, so just to be clear here, you're saying that it's just a theory? A game theory. Thanks for watching. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
And like to that, so also he's definitely lost track of the question asking thing at this point.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm abusing that.
Taking advantage of that.
Well, had I my druthers, I would spend a lot more time researching it to be certain of my theory. But I'm not the one calling the shots here, am I?
And speaking of your research,
yes.
You mentioned, you said a word, my, when talking about Kassira. Safaria. Names.
Fancy names, whether that one's a patron, shout out Safaria.
Shout out Safaria.
Yes. Where's the thing? His eyes grow wide with like delight as you say this, like a proud child showing off what they've made so you can put it on the fridge. Perhaps my finest work to create magic is one thing, but to create life, limited as it may be, it's remarkable. Think of Selfaria like an Esper, but with a body of sorts, not so reliant on magic, albeit reliant heavily on upkeep. I built her myself, and while we were unable to capture the echelon of healing magics, what TL was able to procure in the name of life magics, I made something, and now it lives. He's claiming Selfaria is a creature he created from magic.
Yeah, no, I got
Fucking
that.
homunculus.
I was gonna say this is it Show Tucker who made that?
Yeah.
Wait. Why did
She
you
goes,
need
Carmire?
Why did you need the Echelor? to make her a real girl?
Now it's his turn.
No, fuck you. You remember.
Actually,
He was into it.
oh, it is his turn, but he passes his turn back to you and to ask that question about the Echelor. Well, healing magics was merely a practicality's sake. I thought healing magic would be a nice balance to what we already worked on, and of course it would aid in creating Selfaria. The need for an Echelor was different. We need a very large amount of magic to make the interrupter work. Of course, we attempted that twice. Once the Shatter God intervened, once Kasira intervene is too minor of a word. She torched the shit out of some dudes. And then you all interrupted our meeting with Miss Ondal.
Yeah, I mean,
I realize you can have a second question. Is there another target after Miss Ondal to power the interrupter?
Well, in its current state, the interrupter is not strong enough to shatter the hearth, of course. So, in order to get it to that stage, we decided on a test run.
okay, we're gonna need you to clarify that statement.
You can have like 5 questions, please clarify.
No, don't offer that much. Don't offer that much.
He doesn't respond. He points up at the ceiling of the building you're currently in, which is made of green magic crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm gonna look at Gyro and be like, hey, Gyro, this might be a good time. Obviously, the whole city's on high alert. You might want to put them on even higher alert.
Let me read this before anything, because it has Gyro involved.
Cool.
You see, I mentioned you all being on a clock, and without me, they have no choice but to stick to the plan as written, which means proceeding and activating the weapon. Proceeding with the attack on, and I apologize, Mr. Shamari, the attack on Atomar. And Gyro looks up at this, rapidly moving towards the table and, like, just grabbing Phylo by the collar. What attack? I believe the rules were I ask a question after, but he's cut off as he just, like, shakes him. What attack? All right. Let's be calm, shall we? My project is ready for testing, as I mentioned, and while it is alone is not nearly enough to break the hearth, Atomar was not selected by proximity. They're going to attack the Shaper's Stone, and yes, Lord Shamari, they're going to shatter it. Of course not quite yet. The plan dictates they are to wait for Mr. Ocelot to return, and then, along with Miss Jade Stone and Selfaria, they will administer our field test, Mr. Ramnarance. A single shot at the Shaper's Stone, and assuming my work is accurate, boom.
Where is Mr. Trolton right now?
That is a great question I have not an answer for.
Okay.
Gyro, you need to up the guard, and you need to get any, like, non-essential people out of this building.
Yeah, he'll go for the door at this, like he's talking to his guards rather frantically. Continue.
Well, I also want to tell him, I mean, where's the big Kerbo mine, and where's the direction they would come from to need?
Oh yeah.
To need this, and then I guess while I'm doing that, I'd snap back to Phylo and be like, "What's the range?"
Okay. So in quick order, Big Kerbo Mine is so pretty much everything along, like, it's like not in Atomar, but is along the near, is going to be along the rivers that outline it. It is like a 4 to 5-ish hour boat trip from here to get there to the Big Kerbo Mine.
Okay.
On the range, well, they'd have to be in the city in order for it to work. Luckily, the interrupter is rather small and mobile. Well, medium size, I suppose. You'd need a cart or something to get it around, but beyond that, rather easy to place it anywhere in line of the Shaper's Stone and aim.
Oh, shit. Okay, so they can transport it.
Yep.
Like, kind of indiscreetly.
Yep.
Yes.
Fuck.
That's also, I would say, why he said, assuming the interrupter is still at his lab.
Okay. Fel? Shit. I mean, I kind of think, as our captive here mentioned, time is of the essence. Do we pause this for now and head to the lab to try and stop them before they get it out?
So we can sort of like, if we want to break timeline here a little bit, because now we know we're on a clock sort of thing, and it wouldn't make sense to casually be asking questions now.
Yeah.
Was there anything else we did want to ask him? Like, y'all didn't ask about Shadja, which you don't need to, but like, if you wanted to, you could. And like, I'm not gonna say we're ticking down the timer every second we ask a question.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. We know she's a bad guy.
Yeah, I don't know that I have
Tell me.
specific questions.
I'm texting Vessler saying Big Kerba Mine has a weapon they are about to destroy.
Adelmar.
Adelmar's the Shaper Stone. The Shaper Stone.
Could I step outside for a second and cast Find Familiar to start looking for any sign?
Sorry, what are you trying to do?
So I step outside of the room, cast Find Familiar to go basically fly around the city and come back if it sees them.
Oh.
I mean, sure. What are you looking for in particular? This is a city of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yes, he mentioned it would need a cart to be carried.
Yeah, I'm like a hand cart, like the thing, the thing you guys brought the fucking spawn in,
a wheelbarrow.
A little bigger than that, but yeah.
Okay, I thought it was at least like horse-drawn carriage. Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought too.
We have a way with dealing with horses.
We have an expert.
Okay, so maybe not the best way to find them.
Yeah, we need to try and stop them before they get into the city. If they get into the city, it's going to be nearly impossible to track them down. We know if it's at least a 4 to 5 hour boat ride away, we know they're going to take some time. We have to try and cut them off on their way here.
Wait.
Telfaria can teleport, probably worth noting that into your calculations.
Oh, thank you.
Can she teleport the... Is it enough to teleport? Can she teleport the entire device?
No.
Oh.
Actually, sorry. Great question. No, the device itself cannot be teleported. In fact, casting that much magic around it is, frankly
dangerous.
Speaking, the worst fucking idea I've heard in my entire life. By the way, don't throw a fireball at that.
Thank you for the heads up.
Is there a way to detect or find it if it's in the city?
Oh, huh.
That's a good question.
Would he know the answer to that question? Let's just say yes for the sake of it. No. You see, with like all my inventions, they're not strictly speaking magic. So, detect magic doesn't detect.
Hey,
This is why, for example, like when
You can locate item though.
No, yeah. Here's what I was gonna say.
Oh, interesting.
Locate object.
I also have to locate person, which gives me 1,000-foot range.
What familiarity do you have to have with an object for locating object to work?
Let me just check that. Describe or name an object that is familiar. You sense the direction of the object's location.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the good news is...
even if he drew it, I don't think I can give you that.
The good news is locate person. I'm familiar with Troton, Selfaria. Like, I could find them with that. But I still have to be within only 1,000 feet. Which is good, but not great.
Less than a quarter mile.
I mean, if we
not
got
in New York City.
If we got to Big Kerbo Mine, it would probably work. But
yes, I would say that. Well,
assuming that they're there.
A mine's a big place, but I'll just say yes for the practicality of it.
Thank you. I would be offended if you didn't. you said the three people they needed to enact the plan was Troton, Selfaria, and who?
Shania.
Chaja. Okay.
Particularly, they need Troton, is what he told us.
Oh, okay. Big strong.
Like they're waiting
guy.
for Troton to get here.
Big angry man to carry the big angry bomb.
Is it because he?
Go ahead.
I guess I'll ask one question. Is it does he not use magic? Is that why? Like, why does he need to be here?
Yeah, that's the question.
So, in response to that, Junver, well, my shielded friend, Selfaria can't interact with the device. Miss Jadestone shouldn't interact with the device. Mr. Ocelor, well, you said it right there. No magic. How do you say that's a bingo?
Shut up.
Yeah, when you told me you told me don't throw fireball here, I was like, oh, fuck, it can't be magical. Okay. I don't have any more questions, I don't think.
Yeah, time is of the essence. I'm cool to...
Okay. So, we'll piss on 1 second. There's a knock at the door, and with a huff of breath, it opens, and Gyro appears, opening the door just enough to like let himself in and closing it behind him. And he extends a hand out, holding something, a piece of parchment. Heroes, I realize we're all doing something important, but may I speak to you all a moment outside of our guests' ears? He like shakes the parchment at you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but make sure your guards come in behind us.
Yeah, that's you're not gonna worry about that. He's not gonna. I'm not gonna. Phylo will not escape while you are in this palace. Is what I will guarantee you.
Well,
Don't want to fucking apparate out the goddamn
What
way.
It'd be
happens
so funny if Chris is like, oh, he got away.
I'm not gonna fuck you like that. And then you all exit, close door, guards going, whatever. He holds out a folded letter with the wax seal already broken. This is addressed to you all.
So you broke the seal. Okay.
Yes, he did. More on that after we pee.
He broke the seal,
When I get
and
back,
so
I'm gonna
are the
kick him
rest
in the
of
nuts.
us.
Not his nuts.